Hey there, Dummy Brigade, what's up? It's your very own Dummy in charge here with some news updates for today. So, without further ado, let us dive straight to the action and begin. US President Donald Trump is winding down the task force leading the country's coronavirus response, even as data shows that more than 71,000 Americans have died from COVID 19 and more than 1.2 million have been diagnosed with the disease, simultaneously increasing his critiques in the process. The United Kingdom now has the highest death toll in Europe as cases rise fast. Coronavirus infections in the Philippines have broken past the 10,000 mark, the health ministry of the country said. Members of one of Ecuador's indigenous communities named Sicopai Nation have fled into the Amazon rainforest for shelter after fears that it could be wiped out as coronavirus infections rise in its territory. Both India and Russia recorded their highest number of daily rise. In Russia, the numbers rose by 10,559 over the past 24 hours, bringing the nationwide tally to 165,929, the country's coronavirus crisis response center said. It was the fourth consecutive day that cases had risen by more than 10,000. Spain records 164 more deaths from COVID-19, but it is their lowest daily rise since March 18. Taking the total to 25,264. Afghanistan's health ministry raised the alarm over the spread of the new coronavirus after a small study with random tests in Kabul suggested about a third of the capital's residents could be infected. Nigeria has recorded its highest single-day infection rate of COVID-19 the day Africa's biggest economy began a 6-week phase-out period of the emergency lockdown measures. A total of 245 new cases were confirmed on Monday by Nigeria Center for Disease Control, 73 of them in the country's commercial capital Lagos. And one thing to be noted, folks, this happened hours after the lockdown restrictions were eased, so the other countries that wish to ease the lockdown in the midst of the disease should take heed. Top US scientist Dr. Anthony Fauci has again dismissed claims that the coronavirus was created in a Chinese laboratory. He said, and I quote, "If you look at the evolution of the virus in bats and what's out there now, the evidence is very, very strongly leaning towards that this could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated," Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, told National Geographic magazine in an interview published on Monday. Bad news for the conspiracy theorists out there. Anyways, authorities in Houthi-held northern Yemen have confirmed that the territory's first case of the new coronavirus, a Somali national found dead in a Sana'a hotel, while the internationally recognized government in the south of the war-torn country has reported 9 new infections. Tanzania's President John Magufuli has dismissed imported coronavirus testing kits as to be faulty, saying they returned positive results on samples taken from a goat and a papaya. Magufuli made the remarks during an event in Sheto in northwestern Tanzania on Sunday. He said there were technical errors with the tests. The president, whose government has already drawn criticism for being too secretive about the coronavirus outbreak, had previously asked Tanzanians to pray the coronavirus away, said he had instructed Tanzanian security forces to check the quality of the kits. They had randomly obtained several non-human samples. These samples were then submitted to Tanzania's laboratory to test for the coronavirus, with the lab technicians left deliberately unaware of their origins. Samples from the papaya and the goat tested positive for COVID-19. The president said that this meant it was likely that some people being tested positive were in fact not infected by the coronavirus at all. Philippines is trialing a coronavirus drug. At least 100 coronavirus patients are to be given an anti-flu drug as cases in the country surpass 10,000. Overall, guys, more than 3.6 million people around the world have now been confirmed with the coronavirus and nearly 257,000 have died. 1.2 million people have recovered, fortunately, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Venezuela's government has said it foiled a marine incursion by terrorist mercenaries who attempted to enter the country on speedboats from neighboring Colombia as the country's security forces killed 8 of the fighters. The group landed early on Sunday on a beach in the port city of La Guaira, about 20 miles or 32 kilometers from the capital Caracas. President Nicolas Maduro frequently accuses political adversaries of attempting to overthrow his administration with the support of the United States. This saga is an ongoing dispute, guys, between Venezuela and United States, which has time and again promised to force Nicolas Maduro from office through sanctions that have crippled the OPEC nations' oil exports. Although President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that the United States government had nothing to do with an alleged incursion into Venezuela that landed 2 US citizens behind bars in the crisis-stricken South American country. Trump said he had just learned of their detention, who were accused by Venezuela of being mercenaries. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro further said they were part of an operation to kill him that was backed by neighboring Colombia and the US, an attempted coup, according to him. Meanwhile, in UAE, firefighters have brought under control a fire that broke out at a residential tower in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates on Tuesday night. 7 people were treated for minor injuries from the fire in the 48-story EPCO tower in Sharjah's Al Nahda area and taken to hospital for treatment, all according to Sharjah's government media office. Well, Dummy Brigade, we'll now take our attention towards the financial news. Qatar Airways is planning to cut a significant number of jobs because travel has been disrupted by the coronavirus pandemic. Chief Executive Akbar Al-Bakr said, "We have to face a new reality where many borders are closed, rendering many of our destinations closed and aircraft grounded as a result, with no foreseeable outlook for immediate positive change. The truth is, we simply cannot sustain the current numbers and we need to make a substantial number of jobs redundant, inclusive of cabin crew." A push for a trade deal between the United Kingdom and the United States has been on the cards since UK made a convincing enough argument that it aspired to leave the European Union once and for all. Now that the Brexit has taken place and nearly 4 years after a slim majority of Britons voted to depart the European Union, the talks between the UK and USA finally began, although by video conference, due to the near global lockdown to curb the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Obviously, 80% of wages of furloughed workers have been paid by the government as of now, the UK government. But now UK is considering a wage cut for furloughed workers. The British government's scheme to pay a big chunk of furloughed employees' wages has been a lifeline to many workers and businesses alike, but they could be left facing an additional shortfall under plans reportedly under consideration. By the way, furloughed means leave of absence, in which you get paid as well. Argentina, about 1 million people could be working online during their country's current coronavirus-induced lockdown, according to a new report by a non-partisan think tank, the Center for the Implementation of Public Policies for Equity and Growth. Many of these workers are shut out of the economy because they either do not have internet connections at home or they did not buy a computer because they cannot rely on internet services in the communities within which they live. The 5G option is a necessity in Argentina as of now, but it would be a balancing act for Argentina as the United States of America would block it, in my opinion. Any further developments with China is both the USA and China spot for regional dominance in South America, and I don't think that USA would want any cordial ties with China. Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Empire, once had said that the quickest way to become a millionaire was to start as a billionaire and then launch an airline. And now, ironically, folks, his airline, like many around the globe, is in trouble again. As Virgin Atlantic said on Tuesday, it planned to cut 3,150 jobs, suspend use of its 4-engine jets, and move operations from Gatwick to Heathrow. United States stocks benefited from a triple boost on Tuesday. Oil prices rose. States eased stay-at-home orders to help revive local economies stung by coronavirus lockdowns. The ease of lockdown and hope of a coronavirus drug being soon available has all lifted investor sentiment temporarily at the very least. Nigeria's economy is projected to contract by 3.4% this year, government officials said on Tuesday, as dwindling oil revenues and the new coronavirus forced it to cut budget plans for a second time. In Southeast Asia, Indonesia's economy grew at its very weakest pace since 2001 in the first quarter as the coronavirus pandemic halted business activity in the Southeast Asia's largest economy and heightened expectations of a looming recession. The coronavirus crisis has hit consumption, the main driver of the economy, investment, and vital commodity exports. Although Indonesia's growth pace was still higher than in some other countries in the region. Well, this is it for today, folks. I hope you guys got updated a bit. I'll meet you guys tomorrow with some new information, some news updates. Don't forget to like, share, and feel free to comment your thoughts down below. Plus, also subscribe to the channel for daily updates. Until next time, take care and stay blessed. Thank you.